Welcome in, Razorback fans. Welcome to the Thursday edition of the Hog Talk podcast presented to you by Vision Exteriors. Tonight, we are going to break down the Fayetteville Super Regional between Arkansas and Duke. We'll touch on Arkansas's tournament hopes and how many games do they have to win. And also, we're starting this out now, and we'll display the results at the end of the show. The poll question of the show is, will Arkansas host a regional? If Arkansas happens to defeat Texas tomorrow, is that enough? How far will they have to go to host a regional? And we're going to talk about the All-In Fund. I was sent some information yesterday that pertaining to this All-In Fund. I put it out there about naming rights and what you can, and we're going to have one or many names. So we'll talk about that in the first segment, and then second segment we'll break down the Arkansas Duke Super Regional along with the SEC baseball tournament. Adam, I showed you the information last night. Their plan is to try to raise $30 million. How are they going to raise this $30 million, you ask? I know a lot of people alluding to it. We have here the All-In Fund. This is a projected where you can have your name on the bathrooms. You can have your name on the practice field. You can have your name on anything that has to do with Razorback Stadium. So this is not necessarily the naming rights, but if you look at at our friends at Ruskin and Zach call it the menu, you could see plenty of options starting at $5 million, you 500,000. There's even some as little as $25,000. You can have your name on some of these items. Adam, what did you think when I sent this to you? What were your thoughts looking at this All-In Fund plan?
I thought it was a joke at first, and I know it's serious just because all the graphics, school put it out, whatever. But I think it's borderline ridiculous. I mean, we're looking at who wants to put their name above the bathrooms?
Yeah.
In all this, so I look at this as another cash grab, money grab. How can we raise more money? I wholeheartedly believe that this is not from Hunter Yurchek, but from whatever third party he's got going to get all this money that he can. I think it makes us look more or less like we're throwing it. I mean, we're having a garage sale at this point in time, and that's what I really feel about it.
You notice right here. I'm moving a cursor. I don't know if y'all can see my cursor or not. If not, but down in this first bottom left-hand corner, it's talking about the head coach's salary and support staff. And it says projected. So even if you get, this is what kind of bothers me about this, is even if you were to get the $30 million, it still puts you in the 7 to 10 range, a head coach salary, puts you in the 7 to 10 range in support staff salary, and it puts you to the 7 to 10 range out of SEC recruiting investment. When you're already saying, we didn't set up our previous coach up for success. We have it now. We have it. We have a stadium name, which we're hearing there's supposedly this $500 million deal going on that we're going to hear about this summer, supposedly, which you could talk about that more, elaborate more on that here in a second. But when you're saying, even if we were to get this 30 million that we don't have, it's only going to put you to the 7-10 range. So you're saying right now, what you have is 13th, 15th, and 11th out of 15 teams. How did you say that you don't have it, but you do have it for this new coach? Then you come out and say, currently we're ranked 13th out of 15th in salary, 15th out of 15th in support staff salary, and then 11th out of 15th in recruiting. There's a lot of stuff that just the math ain't adding up to me, man. It's math ain't mathing.
Oh, 100%. And it hasn't since the beginning of all this. When I say all this, I'm talking about NIL in general. You were the first school and you bragged tremendously about it being the first school with an NIL collective. You botched that because what are we on now? Like three different.
He's on his third wife. Yes. Yeah.
So here we are on leg 3 of this little race. We've been at the back of the SEC this entire time, and during Sam Pittman's tenure, it was basically known. You put it out there as the athletic director that there's not money, that we don't have money, and then with Coach Silverfield in the opening press conference, it's he's going to have money, he's going to have the sport, he's going to have this. Y'all are going to be, wowed at the staff and wowed at this and wowed at that. What all of the lip service. And I know some have liked the coaching staff that has been put together. At the same time, there's a lot of people that are like questioning, and I'm one of those people. We talked about all this experience that we were going to get on this coaching staff. Yeah. It was going to come from the money spent and this, that, and the other. Everything has been lackluster. And even, like we've talked about on the show, Transplant and Texan has reminded us throughout multiple shows on how we were supposed to have this layout of the plan and who's going to be a part of this new NIL plan with I don't know if Learfield or no, who
Linked You. Is that the new one? Linked You?
It was Link You. We were going to have this whole plan, this whole layout. Who's going to be involved? Who's this? That got pushed back. We've never heard about what's going on with it. Everything has just been botched.
Yeah.
And I just don't know at what point. And here we are once again, too. It's asking for handouts. Mm-hmm. It's public fundraising rather than doing it behind the scenes. So it now granted, unless a fan that has, money wants to step up and pay 150,000, 300,000, 500,000 for their names above the bathroom or whatever building or other room in the facilities. This is just flat out a garage sale that does not make us look good.
Yeah. I mean, in looking at, I'm getting older. I don't wear my glasses while we're recording and stuff, but I pulled it up on my phone. I mean, they even have it to where the daily players' lockers, you could have for $25,000 a locker. So you can have so-and-so's name up and then have their name next to it. I mean, it's getting to the point where it's like, overkill's an understatement. Like, it's almost sad. It's almost like what we used to make fun of NASCARs. It's going to be that. There's going to be these people. I was talking to a buddy of mine, and I said, it reminds me of a churched up version of when you're wanting to do a ceremonial walkway and you buy a brick with your name on it and you put it out front of the building. This is what we're going to get at from it is a bunch of names all over the place. Now there's some right here that it's already saying funded. So, hey, the AD's office is funded. The conference room, there's a head coach game day locker. There's so many of these names, opportunities, outdoor practice facilities. So if you wanted to have your name on the outdoor practice facility, $5 million a year. If you wanted to have the game day team locker room, $2.5 million. Founder Club, $2.5 million. Somebody has already donated, according to this, the SEC Club, $2.5 million. So, there's now. I wouldn't mind if it was the big red rooftop. That's $1 million. But does that come with free drinks? Do I get to run around the bar? Do I get the seats that come with it? It's a little too late to me. You're a little late to the party because what will this 30 million get you? And you're already seeing the money is going to salaries. How much of this money is going to what we need? Players. I think that's the biggest thing of it. And if we do get the $500 million mega deal, How much is that's going to NIL? And that's the thing. We're going to sit here and we're going to get wooed. We're going to get, oh my gosh, we sound this big deal. We're going to have all this money. But all in all, how much of that, what percentage of that's going to go to what really matters? NIL. I'm sorry, you could pay your coaches whatever. But it don't mean jack if you're not bringing the players in, if you're not getting the players. Because those are the ones that are throwing the ball, catching the ball, running the ball, scoring the touchdowns. And how do you think, Adam, is it going to feel if players are coming to Arkansas knowing you have a $30 million deal going on with your revenue for the stadiums and salaries? You just strike this $500 million deal with whoever or whatever. We don't know that yet. And then they're coming and saying, well, we don't have the money to give you. It's not going to be a good deal. And I don't know why they think this is going to help the football program, because all in all, it's all about how much money are you going to give me to play football at the University of Arkansas?
Gary, on your question, how come they are limited to one sponsor patch on the jersey? Why can't they put more sponsorship patches? So that's an NCAA rule, but I believe the max is actually 2 that they're allowed. I'm not 100% on that, but I believe I feel like I heard it was 2. At the same time, I can see a company, especially one like Tyson Foods, which if y'all want, I'll put my shirt up here. You can go get the Tyson Food Hog Talk leaning on the A shirt on our TeePublic site. But I feel like you're going to have companies like a Tyson Food or a Walmart or hell, I don't even know some of the other companies that
says teams can have up to 2 commercial sponsor packages or logos on uniforms.
I can easily see a company, and I'm not calling out Tyson here because I truly don't know, but I can see a company, especially with this being new, doing a deal and it being like, hey, we don't want another sponsor on this jersey.
Yeah.
So don't put somebody else on here. It's ours and ours alone. And I can see this being new enough that you'll have some schools that are going to be kind of scared, and they're going to say, okay, they're going to agree to it. I feel like in Arkansas's boat, especially as much as Tyson Foods has put into the University of Arkansas, John Tyson on his own dime with the basketball program, but now with this, I could easily see a school like Arkansas being more or less afraid to go get another sponsor. So that's where I see that.
But how many times can you go to the well before it runs dry as well?
1,000%.
You're that's the deal. Like, I mean, I guess Walmart, I don't even know Walmart would. I just think here just, and we know he's incompetent, so he probably wouldn't be thinking about this. But if I was anybody in that athletic department, I wouldn't even go to Tyson anymore about anything. The dude's funding your basketball program, and it's the most successful program going on right now. Leave him alone. Let him fund your basketball program, because I'm telling you, if that is giving you your Sweet 16s, Elite 8s, and whatever you can do, leave that alone. Find somebody else. Because once, what it's going to do is it's going to turn him all the way. Oh, what I'm giving you is not enough. You want more? You want more? You want more? And again, what's whose name's on the track? I mean, we're the track facilities, Tyson, so it's one of those that you've got to go find, and this is where it's going to be, Hunter, you've got to go find money. You can't put this flyer out here. Like I used to push sales for a car dealership, and it was these pamphlets that trying to get them to have their own promos that you would get in the mail. Hey, scratch this key and bring it into the dealership and you might win a car. These promotions, it looks like one of those. And you're asking people to give $25,000 and up to have your nameplate on said locker or room or door. I don't, and like you said before we started rolling, they're grasping at straws. Moving on to the $500 million deal that we're hearing that's coming this summer or being talked about this summer, you alluded to some of it, and I'll let you elaborate on what your thoughts are of this supposedly mega deal coming 2027-ish at Arkansas.
So we've been hearing, I mean, off and on for, I mean, the last little bit. I know it was falsely reported by another outlet that a deal was in place. But we've been hearing that a deal is done for what? Really about the last 6 months?
Yeah.
6 months or so.
Yeah.
So that a deal was done, but we hadn't heard anything. And now there's more coming out that like, oh, it's done, but it's not going to start until 2027. Here's my thing and my 2 cents with all that. And it's been talked about on Ruskin and Zach and similar mindsets with this. If it doesn't start until 2027, you do not have a deal in place.
Mm-hmm.
You do not have anything signed if you are not starting this for another year and a half. If it's not going to be on the stadium, or if it's going to be on the stadium before the 2027 season. I just think that this is once again smoke. I know that there were some rumors that it was going to be Walmart that has the naming rights. I don't know how much truth there is to that, but here's my thing with that too. If it was Walmart, if they were putting naming rights in, we kind of know that Walmart has the bank. Yeah. So why would it be waiting until 2027 for the likes of Walmart to have their name up on that stadium?
The only thing I can think of is, and now my head's kind of spun on, I don't know when this guy's last day is, but they just changed their CEO, or their CEO is stepping down. Is that going to be at the end of this year, or was it the end of last year that he stepped down?
I believe he retired the end of this last year. I can double check right quick.
That's the only thing I can think of is maybe that would stonewall things, is if he's stepping aside and he's going to be that, the person behind the deal that gets.
He officially retired January 31st of this year.
Okay. So, I mean, maybe when we had Matt Brown on and we were going over the NIL stuff and when we were talking about the tennis program and everything, he brought up that point with the naming rights, and it does take a long time. But the thing is, this was being talked about last summer about, hey, we're very close to having something done. And now you're saying a year later, we're very close to having something done. I don't know if this guy's just trying to, it's almost like my kids sometimes with their grades and their homework. They, well, the teacher ain't graded it yet, and they're just trying to squeak by till the summer. And then when we get the report cards back, it's like, hey, where's all these missing assignments at? Well, now we have these things called Gradeway where we can check and see if things are getting graded. Well, now in the real world, we have the internet. We have what you said a year ago. We had what you said 6 months ago. And we're able to fact check you on things that you're saying is getting done and they're not. And like I stated, that there is people out there in the media that's, they're reporting, or they're telling me that he is trying everything he can to raise money at the University of Arkansas. And if he's trying everything he is trying to do to raise money at the University of Arkansas, and we're still having to come up with this pamphlet 6 months later or 5 months into the year with football season a few months away, you're not getting any bites. So maybe University of Arkansas Board of Trustees, we need some new bait, as in a new athletic director. We need to throw something else back out there. Mm-hmm. And because it's not working. And we have been adamant about how we feel about this situation, but all in all, to the fans, to the people that are asking to get $30 million a year to have your names on this stadium, do you want to promise that you're going to get a good product? All right, so I'm going to give you $1 million to put my name on the practice field of a 2-10 team. I'm going to put $25,000 on a locker of a player who might sit out after 4 games. I'm going to put $500,000 on a coach's office that might not be here next year. You got to start delivering before you start demanding. That's what has to happen. You got to deliver before you demand. and you're demanding $30 million a year, but you're not delivering.
1000%. And Transplant Texan, I mean, you're right here. Like this whole process should have been started. You should have been looking for somebody to take over this before that contract ran out. You knew when the end of all this was going to be, and you waited. I just feel like once again, whether it's Learfield, whether it's whoever that are taking over a lot of this stuff, you're putting your job off on a third party. You're putting your job off on other people. You're delegating your job out to somebody else because you can't do your job. Point blank, period. You can't do it. So you've brought in somebody else to take a chunk of the change and do it for you.
All while giving yourself a raise.
1000%. All while building your resume before you head out in 2027.
Yeah. I think that's what's going to happen. I think this dude's promising something's going to happen. It's not. And by the time everybody gets so restless about it, and I think everybody already is. But I guess my biggest thing is, and this is where I guess people are going to call me the old man or get off my lawn. I don't care if they sign a $500 million deal if none of it's going to the players.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I mean, I'm looking at the big picture here. We're saying we have all this money, we have all this revenue. Yes, we'll be able to fund salaries, but you're not funding what really matters, and that's players. You just cut a tennis program for $2.5 million. Now you're asking some random person to put their name on a toilet. I mean, it's the fact that it's embarrassing, and it's the fact that you're an SEC school doing this.
Mm-hmm. Let's go a step further too. You put out in your press release about the tennis program that you and the Razorback Foundation would be monitoring essentially these donations that were coming in for the tennis program. And we discussed that too on, are you going to be monitoring this so that y'all can turn to them and say, well, what about the football team? Do you want to give more, or why aren't you donating to the football team? And let's take that money so it's one of those things that you're going to monitor who's donating to tennis, and then you're coming out and asking for people to put their name on a toilet.
Yep.
I mean, it just looks bad. And not only does it look bad for him, but it just makes us look cheap.
Yep.
Because I'm not hearing about any other program that's going to this extreme to basically nickel and dime their athletic department. I mean, I don't know what's worse at this point, because we've seen some of the fiasco already with some of these other schools and private equity firms, because they're getting tied up in court early on, which we kind of knew would happen. But I mean, at this point, what would you rather have? You sell your soul essentially to a private equity firm, or turning your athletic department into a garage sale? I mean, hell, you might as well get Dollar General to sponsor us at this point.
I mean, there's been reports of a certain bank that's offered and they turned them down. So, I mean, that's what the thing is, there's been offers put out there, but I would also go, why don't you're talking, everybody's talking, and I've mentioned these people's name before. You've got an up and coming company that's huge in Fort Smith, ArcBest. Why don't you start going to these regional regional companies that are, I mean, like ArcBest, that used to be Arkansas Best Freight, ABF. But I mean, there's still part of it is ABF, but for the most part, the whole company is under the umbrella ArcBest. Why not go to them? You have, how about you want to talk cutting, lick your wounds and get rid of the daggum raffle.
Yeah, because how much are
lick your wounds and get rid of that and renegotiate a deal with Bet Saracen. Please come in and help us. We're sorry we made a bad deal. We're sorry about the pettiness. Will you come in and do this? And I guarantee you, Carlton still would.
Oh, 1,000%
would. 1,000% would. Because especially with DraftKings and with the other one, FanDuel, he would. And it would be a win-win situation, because how much money would he save you just by him doing it alone? And that's what that was the biggest gripe about it. You're willing to pay somebody to do it just so you can't say that he's doing it. And like with the tennis program, you're having people out duel you and out raise money on you. And now you're saying, well, we don't want them to raise too much money because we're going to look over it. It's like watching The Handmaid's Tale, you know, we're going to let you make money, but we're going to take some of that if you're making too much, because we don't want it to take away from, distract us from what my job is. And that's to outsource. And I think that should be the name of the arena. If he stays on athletic, or it should be outsource arena. I think that should be the name, outsource stadium.
I mean, this is a prime example of a boss taking credit for other people's work.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, with his outsourcing and his this and his that, because I mean, he's gonna, stick a feather in his cap, hang his name on it, whatever else. Well, that's one of those things too.
That old saying, you're standing on third base and saying you hit a triple.
Yeah. And this is the point that I'm at with it, and I hate being at this point. I hate feeling like this when it comes to Arkansas athletics, but I find it so comical at this point, and I despise him so much that I hope a lot of this fails just to make him look even worse. But at the same time, it's a double-edged sword, because I want Arkansas athletics, especially Arkansas football, to be good. I want them to make the money. I want them to have the money to go and get. But it's just absolutely ridiculous. And I just truly despise the way that he's going about all of this.
This is the way I think it should go. Board of Trustees, listen. If you're dialed in, people listen. You give Hunter your check this year. He's been here since 2017. He should have known when the naming rights were up. He should have been a head start. Talking about being a salesman, that should have been a big thing on him. That should have been on his mind post-COVID, or you get out of COVID 22, 23. That should have been on his mind. You got till 2027 or the end of your contract to get NIL money, to get all this done. And I'm sorry, again, I'll say it again. The $500 million means nothing to me if none of it is going to NIL. Now, if you strike a $500 million deal, let's go bring up, I think the Michigan deal, where $100 million of that's going to NIL. I will applaud you, and I will publicly apologize for everything I've ever said if you strike that type of deal. But the reports I'm seeing and the people I've been talking to, if this big mega deal, none of it's going to NIL. All right. So if you can't get that done, you're out. Done. Keep Ryan Silverfield. You give him a chance because he's proven that he can win. You bring an athletic director who can come in and raise money, give him a shot to be a coach, because I don't think it'd be fair if you're sitting here saying you're 13th out of 15th and recruiting and funding, and you fire a coach after 1 year when it's not his fault. You bring somebody else in and you build this program and you let him be the starter. He's young. He's got the fire. He has the passion. He is trying. I fault nothing for him for what's going to happen to this this football program next year. I don't, because I don't think he's getting a fair shake. And then you bring in a new athletic director. Don't let this thing build up a little bit, maybe give you a little bit of promise, and then he leaves you in 3 years or 2 years, and then you're left starting over again. You give him this year. And then you bring in somebody who wants to embrace NIL. You want somebody who wants to really say one Razorback, but not cut athletic programs. You want somebody who wants to come in and support the women's sports and not, I mean, he had one job, again, football program, and he can't even raise funds for a football program. And now it's slipping away from the baseball and basketball programs because where we are with NIL. You should have been way ahead of that. You've had 3 tries at this with 3 collectives. You got till the end of your tenure, 2027, to get it done, or we're bringing somebody else who can do it.
And let me put this up here. Gary, I used to be against this, but now seeing what this position as athletic director needs, which is to sell the University of Arkansas, which is to sell especially the football program. I used to just think bring in Houston Nutt as an ambassador. I'm to the point now in seeing what this university needs, and it's selling the University of Arkansas.
Absolutely.
Houston Nutt is the man for the job.
Absolutely.
In my opinion, out of everything, Houston, because I'm going back to, which love him or hate him for whatever reason, I'm going back to the Frank Broyles days. Who was Arkansas's biggest salesman? Frank Broyles.
You want an ambassador. Who was the ambassador of Arkansas? Frank Broyles.
And so Houston Nutt would be Frank Broyles 2.0 in that aspect. He would 1000% sell the University of Arkansas. And guess what? We've had him on this show before. And you know what I wanted to do after we had him on the show? I wanted to run through a brick wall.
You want to run through right behind you. You just turn around.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what he does whenever you get into a conversation with him.
Yep.
And it's one of those. Did I play for him?
He loves this state.
Yes.
He loves this state.
I've had my reservations about, going back to like his tenure here and afterwards and this, that, and the other at the same time after it's all said and done, just sitting there having a conversation with him. Yes, I would run through a brick wall for that man. Yeah. And that's what he does. And I
think he would run through a brick wall for this state and this university.
1000%.
And that's what you need. You had said it right. I mean, you need somebody to raise money. You need somebody in here that's going to do the donors and bring in the money. You bring in the coaches and the recruiting staff. Look at LSU. And we'll touch on this before we go to break. I was kind of pissed off at LSU. I was like, you know what? But I'm jealous of what LSU is doing. And I will openly admit it because they go out and get Lane Kiffin. They're going out and bringing back Will Wade. They're going out and adding all these people. At first it pisses you off, but now it's comical to the point where like you have to applaud what they are doing. They're bringing in all these players that knowingly Alabama got kicked off their squad. They're saying, I don't care. If they get kicked off the team, they get kicked off the team. If they're not eligible, we are shaking things up. And then you bring in Ed O. Bring him back. They're bringing the whole gang together and adding Lane Kiffin to it. And I have to applaud them because I am jealous because I would love for half of that at Arkansas. I would love half of the effort that they're doing down in LSU here at Arkansas. And I think if you brought in someone like Houston Nutt, you could have that. You could have a winning program. You could have the money, all of it.
But, LSU's doing things that, of course, they're going and spending and doing and whatever. And I'm like we've talked about, love to see it all crash and burn. But at the same time, at least they're trying something. Do I agree with Will Wade? No, I don't agree with Will Wade. Do I agree with what they're doing with Lane Kiffin? No, I don't. But whenever I saw that they were bringing Ed Ogeron in as a special assistant or whatever his title is going to be, I don't know. They're at least trying things.
Oh, yeah. No. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick commercial break. Hear a word from our sponsors. When we come back, Adam and I will break down the Fayetteville Super Regional, touch on the matchup between Arkansas and Duke that starts tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. I know there's a lot of people upset about or unhappy with the start time. We'll talk about that and everything after our break.
Searching for premium brewery products that will take your daily routine to the next level? Look no further than Sterling Soap Company. Our handmade soaps, aftershaves, and balms are made with only the finest ingredients that give you the ultimate grooming experience. With a variety of scents to choose from, there's something for everyone. Plus, our products are crafted in small batches to ensure the highest level of quality. So why wait? Visit www.sterlingsoap.com or visit our retail store at 16 West Walnut Street in Paris, Arkansas. Shop our collection and discover the difference for yourself. Upgrade your grooming routine with Sterling Soap Company. Are you looking for a place to grab a cold drink and some delicious food? Look no further than Arkansas Brewing Company. Located at 201 South 1st Street in beautiful downtown Ozark, our establishment offers a wide selection of craft beers and tasty eats. But what sets us apart is our welcoming atmosphere and friendly staff. At Arkansas Brewing Company, you'll always feel like part of the family. So visit Destiny and Christopher Brockett and staff today and see for yourself what makes us the go-to spot for locals and visitors alike. Arkansas Brewing Company, come for the drinks and stay for the friends. Attention DIYers and home improvement enthusiasts. Are you searching for the right tools and the supplies to tackle your next project? Look no further than Mentor's Hardware Store. With locations in Ozark, Alma, and Clarksville, our vast selection of hardware and building materials is sure to have everything you need. Whether you're fixing a leaky faucet or building a new deck, plus our knowledgeable staff is always on hand to offer expert advice and guidance. And with our competitive prices and convenient online ordering, Meadows Hardware Store is your one-stop shop for all your DIY needs. Visit us today and let's build something amazing together.
Are you looking to take your career to the next level? Look no further than ATU Ozark Campus. As a 2-year satellite campus of Arkansas Tech University, we're dedicated to a quality workforce education, industry partnerships for in-demand jobs, and tailored paths for success. Our programs are led by industry professionals. Whether it's a certificate or you're aiming for a graduate degree, ATU Ozark has you covered. Visit our website at www.atu.edu/Ozark or contact us at 479-667-2117. Your future begins here. Welcome to Ozark Area Chamber of Commerce, where our mission is simple: encourage, promote, and aid an enduring environment of shared economic opportunity and civic development for the Ozark, Arkansas area. Whether you're a local business owner or a resident, we've got something for you. Shop our unique local businesses, explore the beauty of Ozark, and savor local flavors and find cozy accommodations. Join us in building a stronger community. And to learn more, contact us at 479-667-2525. Remember, together we thrive.
And welcome back to the Hog Talk podcast. And we'll again get off our soapbox for this second segment of the show. And we'll break down the Super Regional in Fayetteville starting tomorrow in Fayetteville. Arkansas is 45-11-0, and now you can wipe the conference records away. 15, they finished 15-9 in the conference. Welcome in a strong Duke team. We elaborated a little bit on this on Monday's show, quick show about just how tough of a matchup this is going to be. I think Arkansas, where their strength is Duke's weakness. And that is the edge that I give Arkansas. I can go lineup for lineup on the offensive side, and very similar. Very, very similar when you look at both of these teams. We'll look at Duke right now. I'll pull up their stats real quick. Share. When you look at it, led by Amina Vega, and you look at these top three right here, 467, 450, and 448 on the year. And if you even want to go down to Layla Lamar, 393. They are smashing the ball. Home runs, Amina has 18 home runs. Jessica has 15 on the year. Layla has 15. So they can hit the ball. Trina Jones, 23 home runs. You see as a team, 113 home runs on the year for Duke. Over on the far right, you see when I'm looking at Deuna Jennings and Amina Vega, 18 stolen bases on 18 attempts, 10 stolen bases on 10 attempts for Amina. And then there's a couple sprinkled in that have 5, 4, and 3. So what that tells me is these girls can hit, and they are going to look to advance. They're going to look at getting to second. They're looking to getting in scoring position. So where Arkansas's pitching is going to come in, that is going to be a huge deal for Arkansas. You're going to have to bring your A game when it comes to Peyton Burnham and Robin Heron and Sailor Tierman. They're going to be having to lean on all three of those girls. When you look, if we switch over here for a second, I'll remove it and I'll bring in the Arkansas side of things. Right here. Here's the Arkansas stats. So you got the Arkansas stats right here. Peyton Burnham, 1.86 or 1.86 ERA, 13-3. Robin Hiram is 1.97 ERA, 16-6, and Sailor Tierman, 2.82 ERA. That is where Arkansas has the biggest advantage, is the ERAs. Duke's pitching staff, they do not have a girl who's thrown under a 4 ERA. So that is going to be the biggest advantage, especially with it being in Bogle Park. But Adam, until they get to Oklahoma City, until they advance to the Women's College World Series, we can't really call it that it's a huge advantage because they've not used that home advantage to their advantage to advance to Oklahoma City.
Correct. We've talked about, especially over the last week or so, this is the best chance for Coach Steifel and this team to get to Oklahoma City. She's put the pieces together from, the season prior, like we've talked about before. What were your shortcomings? What cost you essentially in the postseason? She's addressed those things. I know that there are several radio shows, radio personalities, and fans that have an issue with 11 a.m. tomorrow. I think it's perfect. I like we talked about, you've got Duke traveling from North Carolina to Fayetteville. You get into Fayetteville, you're on a weird schedule with that, and then you're waking up early to prep for, your pregame and this, that, and the other. I think it plays well into Arkansas's hands. And mind you, also, just for the fans' sake of it, you can watch softball at 11 a.m. and then at 3 o'clock, you've got the baseball team playing.
Yeah.
So I think it works out great for the fans. And I think it works great for Coach Steifel and the softball team. I think that this is a great matchup. We just go back to years prior, whether it's been injury, whether it's just been your pitching or your hitting going cold. This is a situation that you still need luck on your side.
Yeah.
You still need to keep playing how you've played the entire season. I just think that Arkansas, I truly feel like Arkansas softball is poised to continue this run.
You need to make sure all your meals are prepped correctly. That's what, again, the food poisoning from last year. I guarantee we've talked about baseball being a superstitious sport, and I don't know if that carries on to softball, but they are checking everything. This is the year if they're going to make it, and not just make it to Oklahoma City. When you look at the tournament bracket on where they fall in this, if they are to get past Duke, they have a favorable draw. I think the toughest opponent they would have, of course, UCLA, but you'd have UCLA, Nebraska. I think it's UCLA, Nebraska, Texas, and the Tennessee, Georgia Super Regional. I think you're in that bracket.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it would just be Duke, Arkansas winner, Nebraska, Oklahoma State winner, Arizona State, and UCLA or UCF, UCLA. So you'd be in that 4. And then you go to the top, it's LSU, Bama, Tennessee, Georgia, OU, Florida, Texas Tech. You talk about stacked. So you could potentially, in one side of the bracket, have Florida, OU, Tennessee, Georgia, and Bama. So this is the thing that's where if you want, and I guess in a way, try not to get too hyped up about it. But it looks very promising. But you have to make sure you're on point with your pitching. You can't make careless errors. If you do make careless errors, you cannot let that snowball into 2 or 3 more. You've got to hold the fort down and get to Oklahoma City, because I'm telling you, I'll drive up there myself. I just to be a part of that presence, to be a part of that if they end up winning and going to Oklahoma City, because Courtney Dowell's been here since 2016, and Adam, we've both been a part of the program. Starting out when they were giving away tickets, we were at games where there was 5 people in the stands watching this game. And being able to see it grow, and I can't remember again what year it was, but I went to cover a game, and it was an 11 a.m. start, 40, 50 degrees outside, and they put signs up on the press box saying sold out. I mean, to me, that was the moment when I knew they were there.
Mm-hmm.
They have made it. When you're going from giving away tickets to selling out at 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock game, that's when I knew that this program was special, and they've done nothing. Yes, you haven't made it to Oklahoma City yet, but this program is special. Coach Steifel and what she has done at Arkansas has been special to this program, and bringing on DJ Gasso. I've talked about that situation, pulling the trigger and bringing him in. It's going to eventually pay off, and I think this is the year they finally do it.
Mm-hmm. And, it's one of those things that we've talked about with this too is this is the telltale sign of giving Coach Steifel whatever support she needs for this program. because she's doing this. When I say next to nothing, I don't know the actual numbers when it comes to NIL and these things, but I can only assume that with softball, it's next to nothing. So this is truly based on coaching and recruiting by her and her staff. So
Buying into the program.
Yeah, 1000%.
And in a sport that you're not promised a big contract when you go to the next level. You're not promised. I mean, you go to the Athletes Unlimited or whatever that they have, and nothing against that, or not a dig at that at all.
There's just not many options after.
Exactly. I've been so hyped for this, but I'm like you, Adam. I've been very, very close to these programs for years. That's what I bleed is covering the women's programs at Arkansas. I love every program they have there. I put a lot of passion into it, and just seeing a lot of them grow from the ground up and seeing where they are. And, soccer and golf, track and field, of course. And then you have softball being that constant success. You've had other programs like your volleyball that's went to Elite Eights, and, they're starting to tail off. You've seen a swim team make nationals. You've seen gymnastics, what that's done. And in my personal opinion, you see a coach step down that's replaced by her husband. Is it to keep it afloat? Is it to keep a little bit of that program afloat, to not them get cut like you did the tennis program? It's one of them that we know that there are certain donors out there. I know Everett, the car dealership is big on supporting the women's programs. I know Tyson puts the patches on theirs. So they get a little bit from Tyson. I know a couple of the athletes are sponsored by Baptist Health. I know there's a little bits here and there, but that's where it gets frustrating when we go back to the first segment. I'm saying how much of all this money you're going to bring in is for NIL, because I'm telling you, we know the big three is going to get theirs, but you could be set up to where you can help out all the programs. And you know what? The most deserving, there's three of them. Let's go. We'll bring golf, track and field. But softball is one of the most deserving programs when it comes to NIL support and what that program does. I mean, they're still losing money as revenue, but the popularity of people running into the berm, they're having to open the gates and people are running to the berm like they do at the hog pen. That's awesome. And I want other women's at sports and programs I want the basketball program to get back to where it was. But from what I'm seeing and hearing, that is a big uphill climb they have there. I think it is a program that's in shambles. I'm sorry to say that, but when you're following the tea leaves and you're seeing the people that are leaving the program, it makes you worry about the state of that program.
And you're 1000% correct on the programs. And this is nothing. I don't want this to sound how it's going to sound. I'm not saying track doesn't need anything or doesn't deserve anything, because they do. I feel like all these programs do. Track is the most self-sufficient when it comes to all this, just because they're going to win national championship after national championship. It's the track capital of the world for a reason.
They are training Olympic athletes.
It's one of those. Do I still feel like that they deserve a cut? 1000%, because they prove themselves day in and day out. But your programs that are successful, that are doing it with next stuff, like you brought up with golf, softball, soccer, we've seen it in a number of these sports, and it's funny to me at times, because you hang your hat on Directors Cups, you hang your hat on SEC championships of all the other sports, but we don't support them from the top. And so I just feel like, if we're not going to get, there's ways to go about this to give these programs more of a cut.
Absolutely.
And I just don't agree with how things are being done. And I'm fearful of not giving the support and running off a coach like Courtney Deifel.
Absolutely. And the talent goes away. I know they're going to get theirs in the transfer portal, but the Ella McDowell's in this recruiting class. I mean, that was her number one recruiting class. That was her first huge recruiting class 4 years ago that we raved about. And now we're seeing, what could be the end of that class. What's going to happen after that? Who do you got coming up? I mean, how long is this going to last if you don't have the support? We have to look at that. And I know a lot of people are talking about, well, it's just softball, but that's why we're holding his feet to the fire when all you have to do is support one program, really, and all the others will take care of itself. Adam, we talked about this at nauseum. What was this university like in 21? How easy do you think it would be? Let's say it's 21 all over again, and you're where you are right now in NIL. How hard do you think it would be to put a flyer out there saying, put your name on this football stadium when you're living high on the hog and you're 9-3, you're going to a Sweet 16, you're going to Super Regionals, you're going to the College World Series? How hard do you think it would be for, your check to jump on that now? So if we can get the football program back to that, everything else is going to fall into place.
Mm-hmm.
So
I know ultimately every university, every athletic department, I mean, your end all be all is your football program. I don't know. I just don't agree with the landscape of college sports as a whole. I mean, we saw it with, attempting to cut tennis, but we saw even after that, there were other universities that were cutting programs here and there. I feel bad for those athletes in these, what are considered lesser than sports.
Yeah. And you could throw baseball in there too, because the only two we're really hearing about is football and basketball. We're not seeing the big recruiting battles, or we're not seeing the big NIL stuff for baseball players. We're not seeing that. So in the grand scheme of it, you're looking at two athletic programs are taking away from everything else, because you sit there and tell the tennis program, we want $5 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to reevaluate you, but don't do too much because it's going to distract from that $30 million pamphlet I put out there. Okay. But that $30 million pamphlet you put out there is taking away from somebody who might want to fund the softball program or the track program. What if you get a $6 million budget for your basketball team? I wonder if that's already happened. That opens up a can of worms that I didn't even think about till just now. How many deals have they been approached by saying, I want to fund said program, and they've shot it down because it's not for the football or basketball program?
$1 million question. Literally could be $1 million question right there. So yeah. I think there's a lot of questions out there from fans and answers that we may never get. At the same time, until we start seeing some proof of things. I mean, if you've got a stadium sponsor, if you've got all these deals in place, and you know what, so be it. If it's not going to start until 2027, but a deal is in place, come out and tell us.
Mm-hmm.
Come out and tell us at this point. I don't see the point in hiding it anymore.
I
don't either. But that's where I'm just at with it. I'm just like, you know what? Put it out there if this is a deal, a done deal that's in place. And just put it out there in a press release that, guess what? Hey, on August 1st, 2027, or whatever the date is, I'm just throwing that out there. Let us know that that's when it's going to start. Because at the same time,
he's that kid that you give a homework assignment to, and it's due by the end of the year. And I've almost got it done. I'm almost there, but he ain't got it done. And he's not.
That's exactly what we saw with the $15 million that he needed to fundraise, and then we cut the tennis programs.
Yep.
So at this point, just put it out there, put your name on it, signed, sealed, and delivered, that this is happening, and try to save face a little bit, because at this point, I'm one of those that has completely lost faith.
Yeah. Arkansas Duke. And another thing, we'll go right back quick to the softball. Arkansas Duke tomorrow, 11 a.m. ESPNU. We will be on TV. I know a lot of people are saying, how can you do this when other teams are playing? We hate you, Christian Laettner. Well, I mean, you got LSU Alabama game coming on at 6. You got Nebraska OU at 4, or Nebraska Oklahoma State at 4, Mississippi State at OU. Everybody is getting their designated time. You're getting to go 10, 11, 12, 2, 4, 6, and then 2 at 8 p.m. prime time. So they're giving them a spot. And so there's just some people who want to complain about everything. And there's a lot of people, one in particular, that wants to act like he's, been a fan, but he only seems to be a postseason fan. or he wants to jump on the radio and talk about how good these women's programs are, but only wants to do it during the postseason. But he's one crying about them being playing 11. And I told everybody, if you didn't hear what I said on Monday, that they are 6-0 and 50 and have outscored their opponents 59-10 in 11 o'clock games or 11:30 and sooner games this year. So this is nothing to them to play an 11 o'clock game. And you know what? You get to relax. You're going to be over by 1:30, 2 o'clock. You get to relax and watch all these other games. If you know your first game, and if you're just prepping, we are going to be matched up against the winner of Tennessee, Georgia in the College World or the Women's College World Series, or say, let's go, it's Nebraska, Oklahoma State. You get to sit there and scout and look and prepare and stay focused and have fun. You get to have fun. So let's lay off of everything just to try to complain about everything.
You know what? We've got a good weekend ahead of us. Arkansas softball, Arkansas baseball in the SEC tournament. I'm in the boat of, at this point, you know what? Go out and try to win it.
Yep.
I feel like that's the only way you're going to get a regional. I still don't think you're going to get a regional. But at the same time, just go out and win it at this point. As Matt Jones has been saying on halftime, you know what? Go get a banner. Go hang a banner.
Yep.
It's going to be a good weekend.
They play tomorrow at 3 p.m. against Texas. They'll be on the SEC network. We did put the poll question out there. Will they host a regional? There's a lot of people. As of today, they are headed to, this is projected, as of today, they're projected to go to the Lincoln, Nebraska regional, which is a favorable regional. And if you win that, you'll be paired up against the winner of the North Carolina regional. That's just projected. So anything can happen, but
the house that Dave built.
Yep.
I mean, Lincoln, Nebraska.
So, you know, their pitching looked good yesterday. You got Texas. You did very good against Texas this season, swept them in Austin. So that's one of them teams you feel good about how everything's going. So good luck tomorrow. Again, 11 o'clock softball, 3 o'clock for the baseball team. Adam, y'all doing a show on Sunday?
Yes.
Okay. I know it's Memorial Day weekend, but Hog HQ Live will be back Sunday at 8:05. We will be live Monday, 6:05. Want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. All of our sponsors, all of our fans. For Adam Hall, I am Porter Hayes. We will catch you on Monday.